Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Hey, you've just finished the 21 days of what happens after you make a decision at a meeting, and I've gone through 21 separate days of helping and thinking and talking about mindset that you could utilize in order to get that whatever the decision made is done. And now you created a habit. Obviously, you haven't got to the pinnacle of what that decision is going to do for you, but you are on your way. You've developed the habit. You're going to make it happen. Today, I really want to talk about, as a bonus, I want to talk about what it means to be able to do some of this stuff. And so, I'm going to title this one, why did I not make $100,000 this year? And this goes for those of you who haven't made $100,000, because I think a lot of you in this category, but it almost goes all the way up to $250,000. If you are below that threshold, there's a lot of the things that are in here that you can work on, especially those who, excuse me, have not made that $100,000 in this last year. And so we're coming at the time of this filming, we're coming up on a new year. These principles apply, things to think about, things that you need to do. And I want to make this really practical. I don't want to make it when I think of the mindset and how important our mindset is, and believe me, it's 95% of everything and mostly what I talk about all the time. But what I really want to give you this time is just some practical things that you can do in order, if you're not making what you want to make, and some of the reasons why you're not making those things, and some of the shifts that you'll need to make. But I want to go through some actual activities and things that you can do that will change who you are, because you are, the person that's getting what they're getting and the results that they're getting. And as a result of those getting, there are some things that you can change. When we think about success leaving clues, let's find the clues of the people who are making the incomes like the one you want to make, and some of the things you need to change. And one of the biggest issues is if you don't change if you don't change the things that you're doing, and then you're wishing for, whether they call it the definition of insanity, I think Einstein said it, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. And so one of the things that happens is we get involved and we go through these meetings, and every week we have meetings that give us programming things that we can do. But until we change ourselves, until we change the way that we think about stuff, the way that we approach stuff, the way that we implement stuff, that's never going to change. You can have all the knowledge in the world. There's some super smart people that are in the world who aren't achieving the things that they want to achieve just because they don't know some of the things to do. So today, these may take a little bit longer, but these are bonus. I'm going to go, I think I have 10 lessons in here. When we talk about going to school with Dr. B, I think I have about 10 lessons. And if you spend these 10 lessons with me, I promise your life is going to change, because of the things that we're going to talk about, the things that if you implement them, no longer will you make less than that $100,000. And for those of you a little bit higher, we'll still talk about some of those things that you can do in order to do it. Well, to get started, I want to kind of talk about levels of value. So today will be just into your mind, and I want you to start thinking through the things that you've done over the last year when I talk about these four core values that we share with each other, and a kind of understanding where you can be, and then what you spend your time doing. And so the first one is what we call implementation. So implementation is what I call the lowest level of values, where we work. I think we more like exchange time for dollars. Times for dollars. And then so in the industry that you're in, are you exchanging time for dollars? And in some cases when I talk about this, I talk about the employee relationship and using your hands and doing the manual work, the work that somebody else isn't willing to do. But when I think about it in a sales industry or a higher industry where people maybe have some freedom to get up every morning and do the things that they want to do in order to create the income, but they're not realizing why they're not getting that. Because when we think about implementation, if it's 100% on you, if it's 100% on your efforts and what you do and when the time you get up and you spend all day and you go, wait a minute, I'm working my butt off. I spent 60, 70 hours this week. I was on my computer. I was calling people. I was doing things that they told me to do. I went into meetings and people told me this is what I need to do to be successful. If it's all 100% on you, you're still in that implementation phase. And when we think about your money working for you as hard as you're working for it, well, the same thing applies to the efforts that you're putting in. If all the efforts go into you, and you're trying to do, and then you're not consistent because you have all these different carrots that keep being dangled, and then you go try this thing and you go try that thing, and so you get into paperwork. Right? If you're sitting down and you're spending most of your day doing paperwork or trying to do some of the follow-up stuff that some people ask, but you're following up by not, and we'll get into this later, by communicating in a way in which people are going to even read your follow-up, you're just wasting your time. And so I see so many people trying to, like in for those of you who are in the mortgage business with me and some of these that are not, I see so many people spending so much time trying to figure out what product is the best product, or what what little carrot or what little special thing can I now offer, or what can I specialize in that is going to bring me the most amount of dollars. And so it's not just those products that are going to do it. It's who you are as you're approaching how you're going to do that. And so implementation is, you're working, if you're finding yourself spending 50, 60 hours a week and you're doing 100% of the work that perpetuates your business, and then that's what's closing deals for you, then you're still in the implementation stage. And so the next one is called the unification stage. So unification is a stage where you begin to utilize others, and either you're duplicating yourself by hiring new people and you're a manager and you're helping them do the things, and you maybe get a little bit of override on it, or have the efforts of several people to get done what you're doing. So maybe you've hired, somebody to help you with prospecting, somebody help you with closing, or you found somebody to help you with doing some of the paperwork that you're doing, so you can free your time up. So now you have the ability. So in implementation, you're probably close to 40, 60, at the most, 70,000, 80,000 at the top. You might approach that $90,000, $100,000 in that implementation stage. In the unification stage, you can go anywhere from, that $100,000 up to $200,000 to $250,000, even if you're working for another company and they're allowing you to have a team of people, because it's their efforts that are perpetuating what you do. And so when we think about, some of those things that you can do in unification is, I'm going to hire somebody. I'm going to get a virtual assistant to be able to help me out, to be able to do stuff. And you start delegating those workloads and those things that are the tasks that you can better spend on doing something else. But the downfall to this, and you'll hear this many times, people say, I don't want you to build a team until you're ready to doing the other stuff, because if you're spending all your time with your team and teaching them, sometimes that doesn't give you the ability to do the thing that's most important. And so if you're a person who is in this unification place and all you're doing is calling your team all day and managing them and not the ability to lead them, and we'll talk about that a little bit, of the difference between management and leading. But if you're spending that time and you're not actually, working on some of the things that you can do, and you're working on them and helping them the whole time, then you're limiting your access to money as well, or into the income that you desire and the things you want. The third stage is the one that you need to spend most of your time in. I would say until you're making over $500,000 a year, this is what you spend 95 your spend time doing. And that level of value is called communication. It's your ability to communicate a message to others and your ability to get good at it. And so if you say, well, I don't like making calls and I don't like talking to people, if you want to be super ultra successful, then you need to get good at it. It has to be your priority. It has to be the thing that you get up in the morning thinking about and the thing that you go to bed thinking about. It has to be what you spend most of your day doing. If I look at any successful leader, and I suppose there's a way you could win the lottery or you could get an inheritance or something like that, but if I see any successful leader who's being able to build something, they are masters at communication. If I think about, the A-list actors, like your Denzels or your, Holly Berrys or whatever the actresses that are actor, they are incredibly good at even communicating pretend characters. But the better they are at communicating that, the more money that they make. You just think about your sports commentators that are on, TV all the time that are communicating. You think about, your CEOs and your vice presidents and, how good are they at communicating and giving a message. When you think about sales, if you're able to spin, and we will talk about, what is sales, the difference between persuasion and the difference between convincing. Convincing is not what you do, persuading is what you do, and that'll be later in this week, and we'll spend time. But how do you get really good at that? When you're on the phone most of the day and you're saying happy birthday or something like that. Now, we have all these people that are telling us that AI is the way to go because it can take, you can communicate to a lot of people at a lot of time. Still, your ability to communicate to your core group or to the people that are going to hand you their money because they believe that you have the value and the answer that is needed in order to do that. And so your ability to get up. And so, when we think about, you get up and you say, okay, I'm gonna read a book, or I'm gonna do something, as maybe that was one of the decisions that you did. I'm gonna read so I can work on myself. How much of that reading that you did helped you learn to be a better communicator? And this is why I say, for this next year, if you did not make $100,000 this year, then we're not going to read anything, do anything, work on anything other than your ability to communicate well. When you're talking and you're on the phone and you're talking to clients, what are the things that you're saying? What are the scripts that you're using? How good are you getting at doing it? If you're going to do social media and do podcasts or get out and talk to people, how good is your communication with the people that you're doing? How good is it across the kitchen table when you're sitting down with a client and you're talking to them? What are the things that you're thinking and you're saying? Are you listening with two ears more than you're talking with one ear? Because if you end up with a presentation that you've done for, whether it's a group of people or an individual, and you've done most of the talking without having this interaction, then you're not communicating. I think the biggest myth of communication is that it's happening. And so one of the things that I'm going to help you to do is figure out, how do I make sure that the message that I'm trying to communicate is the message that people need to hear, so that they can now interact with me, so that when they interact with me, they're willing to do business with me. Bottom line, that is it. How do you become a great communicator? And we're going to talk about that the rest of the week. And then the last level of value, this is when you've mastered this communication thing, you've done really well, and now you're in that implementation stage. You're in that implementation. You're in the imagination stage. You're in the contribution stage. You're in that stage where you've come up with an idea or a thing. You think of the folks like in the business that most of you guys are in. If we're in the mortgages, like the person who owns that mortgage company, the person who is making that happen in a big way, you're that person. That has come up with the idea, the system. You think of the Elon Musk of the world, the SpaceX and Tesla and PayPal, whatever it is that he's done. You think of all the billionaires that you've heard of. They still have to be able to communicate their idea, right? Because nobody's going to follow them if they haven't communicated. So a great idea is great if you're able to communicate. So the communication becomes the number one thing that we're going to learn how to do. And so I appreciate your time today. If you're not making what you want to make, I hope you stick with me. I think, like I said, I have 10 lessons in here. It might be a little bit shorter, but I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time each day. If you're willing to spend 10, 15 minutes with me each day, I promise you, if you take these things to heart and you start working on especially communication, we're going to get there. So you guys have an amazing, awesome, just incredible day today. I can't wait to share and implement some of these things that are practical day-to-day things that I would love for you to do that are going to. But now I just want today I just want you to think about, what stage do you believe in? Are you doing most of the work yourself in the implementation stage? Are you working with your team all the time and you're not getting time yourself in the unification stage? Are you utilizing people in the right way? What does your day look like? How well are you communicating, and how much better could you get at it? And finally, we may get to the imagination stage, but we're not going to spend a lot of time there until we get you making money doing the things that you can totally be good at. All right, so you guys have a great day.